What's up, Ryan? How you doing, man?
What's going on? Good to be
You're
back.
watching, for everyone out there, you're watching the Dumbfounded Dipshits podcast. I love how he says good to be back he's always been here, but
Yeah, well, we're in a different space. It's like we're in
can you hear me,
cyberspace.
Ryan? You were frozen.
Uh, 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 uh,
Oh, shoot, it still says black holes and balloon knots. I gotta change that. Uh-oh.
Oh, you still got the ticker from the last episode we did together?
Yeah,
Wasn't
yeah.
any like pop and lock?
I was laughing, by the way, because someone I know that's on YouTube, Duval Homegrown, another great channel everyone should check out,
Yeah,
Duval
yeah,
Homegrown.
yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
messed I
I've
was
seen
in
that
his
dude.
stream, and he goes,
He's got all the
he
pot
goes,
leaves
he
all over the
goes,
screen.
yeah. He's like, you named the podcast Black Holes and Balloon Knots. You did a show about assholes and anuses, and I'm like, yes. I'm like, did you see the one before that? That was about cunts, the history of the word cunt. He goes, yeah, I saw that. That was good. He's like, I said, I'll send you a link. You could come on the show. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I'm like, I don't care. It's a show about fucking nothing or everything.
Yeah, or the
Before
nothing
we
we know,
start-
the nothing we know, because we know nothing. We are not experts. He destroyed that one that died, and it's like a puppy. It's like your dog dies and you get a puppy, and that's his puppy.
I didn't get this. See, I get this from the Daily High Club. They send you a monthly box. So I got the March box late. I got it a couple days ago. I was live and I was smoking from it. And then the second the live ended, the next show I showed you that I destroyed it. It broke, and I had
That was
pieces
sad.
everywhere.
I was so
Very
sad when
sad.
I heard that. Yeah,
The
broke
next
bomb.
day, I get another box, and I'm like, I'm not supposed to get another box. And I open it, and it's the same box I got before, same everything, same ashtray, and same piece. Hopefully, I don't drop it and break it again all over the fucking place. Because let me just tell you, this is not safety glass.
No,
This
I
shit
know.
breaks
I know.
into small,
It's delicate.
tiny ass pieces.
Yeah, it's delicate, man. It's. I mean, that's why they are like special pieces of art. You know what I mean? Because they're delicate. They could easily break. There was, and you know what, me and my brother, we were close and burning down a lot together. And I think it was a birthday of mine, and he's given me several pieces. One which is the biggest single bowl, no water piece that I have, like non-water involved. Is the one that I still have, but the one before that was just a little smaller, but the chamber filled up with so much smoke. I broke that one, and it was in my backyard in Brooklyn, and it hit the concrete. You know what I mean? Like if it hit the wooden deck, then fine, but it hit the concrete at an angle, and it split in such a weird way. But there's a good side to the story, right? That was very sad because I had that one for the longest out of the ones that he's given me, right? So it cracked. This thing looked like a fucking geode. There was there was strata. Do you know what strata means? Like, like layers of like our planet has the mantle and the core and the crust.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It looked like strata. Like it looked just like a globe of just aged with a capital ED at the end of it, resin. It was gooey. It was like, I smoked that wax, like that fucking buildup for like 2 months. Dude, that's how much was in there. But I held this piece for a minute and it smoked.
Man, people.
Never got clogged up, but filled up with, because of the way the bowl was blown, it like caught all the shit. And
Yeah, at the bottom of it, it had like not, it's not meant to catch it, but it just has a spot that happens to catch it. You know.
That's why a plumbing lesson for your kiddos. That's why the trap, and it's made to catch like soot and dirt, so the water flows out to the sewer. That's why it dips down like that, so that this bowl had that like attribute to it, where it had like an alien head on the bottom. If you stood it up, it looked like that alien head filled up with resin. It was dank too. Oh, there were bits of blood in there too, like that just got like sort of like amber eyes. Like the mosquitoes in Jurassic Park got caught by the amber.
The
mosquitoes
in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, the little
Great
bud
reference.
pieces, the little ground bud pieces would get trapped in there because they get sucked in sometimes. Because whatever, I hate the whole idea of the screen and stuff. You know what I mean? In a glass bowl.
Oh
Screen's
yeah.
good.
Well, I always said this when we used to use a screen back in the day. We didn't know any better, and I always said it breaks away and disappears. Eventually, falls apart, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it disintegrates.
I said to my boy, it was like, so where's that going? He goes, what do you mean? I go, it's breaking apart and going somewhere. Where's it going? Because I don't understand what you mean. In your fucking lungs. That's fucking good. You're already putting weed in your lungs. Do you really want to put some other shit like metal or aluminum in your fucking lungs?
So I'm saying there's like a byproduct to that shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I don't know. The glass is just cleaner. I mean, not like you're not fucking smoking tar from all that resin, but I'd rather have the resin than the metal.
How much do you know about the United States Constitution?
Okay, so episode today is about the Constitution according to us, and according to us, I mean, at least according to me, I don't think I know all that much about it. I like to like fucking bullshit with people and be like, well, you know what your rights are, you know? But in all honesty, I'm not a political science major or a law major. So how much do we all really know about the Constitution is the question. So I don't think I'm an expert. I don't think I'm an expert on anything by any means. They about to cancel me like yesterday.
I used to carry a pocket Constitution with me all the time.
So are you versed? Like, would you consider yourself like how an evangelical is like, spit me a verse out the Bible, and evangelicals would be like, yo, I memorized that shit when I was 5. You know what I mean? Could you do that with the Constitution?
I'm 34 years old. I have multiple sclerosis. My memory is shit. So no, I can't recite random parts of the Constitution to you.
So is it safe to say we'll both be learning like a few things today, like that we're like, holy shit, I didn't know that.
I'll be remembering things like, oh, I remember that, or oh yeah, I forgot about that. But like at the end of the day, what the Constitution is the law.
Yes. It was the first law. It was the first law that was laws that were drafted for our sovereign country, right? For our nation.
They are the main laws. These are laws that can never be changed. They could be amended a certain way, but they can never be changed. Right. You can't. Now, the First Amendment, obviously, is free speech.
Yeah.
Now
we get to do this. We get to do this right now because of that.
Now it's Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of
This already sounds like the Bible. This sounds like the Bible already. They shall make no law. It's like.
Well, you gotta remember when this was written. they were old guys.
I'm like already triggered to be like, don't tell me what to do.
There you go. I pasted it. So Congress shall. I'll show it. Mm-hmm. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So Congress is not religious, and they can't prohibit practicing any religion.
Yeah, this is like separating like church and the
freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of people peacefully to assemble and petition the government for a redress of grievances. Now, the last sentence is very important, by the way.
Okay, so grievances. Yeah. All right.
When has the government ever took a protest seriously and did something? We never left Vietnam right away with all that protest.
No.
We never.
But the thing is, this is what's good. It's like, you know what it's like they're allowing you therapy. So it's like saying you could go. You could go and talk about it, but we're still not going to change nothing. It's like I could go to my therapist.
But that's not what it says.
Is it going to change the people around me?
What pisses me off about the Constitution is I love the Constitution.
Yeah,
I love it.
Right.
Our current government and every one of them, I don't care what they say, they do not honor or follow the Constitution. They don't. I'm sorry. You have certain politicians who do. You have certain politicians who say they do. But it's only the amendments they want to. They pick and choose which ones they want to follow when they want to follow.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask you, it's not that they don't follow all the laws, and it's not that they don't like try to stay 100%. But the thing is this is one thing. I can never trust any human being from staying 100% to any sort of set of laws or rules. And anybody who does is definitely like a soulless robot. And that means if you have no, everybody has a flaw. Somebody's going to sneak a cookie out of the cookie jar every once in a while, and eventually it'll happen. And I as human beings, you know, so to have somebody who's a politician be 100%, 100% all the time, and not have bent a rule into their, you know, into their favor or whatever. It goes the same with us. That's why we have lawyers. We have lawyers, and we hire a lawyer so that they could bend all of those laws to go in our direction through interpretation.
Yeah, I was going to say, they don't necessarily bend it, they interpret it.
Right. And the Constitution is constantly being interpreted and reinterpreted and reinterpreted over and over and over and over and over again. I personally don't want to say that, oh, well, from what I know of it, I'm staunch in my belief to every single law as it applies to today's day and age. But you have a lot of people out there who are like totally like, okay, so that right to bear arms is, who needs it now? And it's like, wait a minute, that's debatable. There's certain things on it that, even though may seem ridiculous to some, are still debatable. You have now, freedom of speech gets infringed all the time. You have social media platforms that deplatform people. That's why I have my YouTube channel, is because it's a joke. It's like, because it is a joke. People getting canceled because of freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is number one, and that's where we're starting, correct, Mike?
Yes, and that's the First Amendment. Now, there's a reason for that. I don't believe, it doesn't say anywhere in this amendment that freedom of speech protects you from the government. It doesn't say that. It says your freedom of speech is protected, period. So you shouldn't be allowed to get fired for something you said at home. You didn't say it at work, you said it at home.
Or in confidence, like me and you have a private conversation, it should never be held against me. And the thing is, there are certain laws out there that are like, oh, doctor-patient privilege, lawyer-client privilege, spousal privilege. And you have like these things that you can say, okay, you can say whatever you want, this person can't hold it against you. But then when did it happen in the public forum? And the thing is, I've been schooled by people now, like I say, I'm not an expert, but I've had people like, or at least maybe I thought I was schooled because I'm that much of an idiot. But I'm just saying, I have people like would say from one side or the other that, oh, well, you know what? They're infringing on your right to freedom of speech when they do things like that, when they kick you off of media and in the whole general sense of broadcasting any of your ideas, regardless of how crazy they are. And it's like, okay, well, then how is that not infringing on your freedom of speech? And then it's your freedom to protect yourself. I personally, I live in a state where we're not there yet. Or Second Amendment. Sorry, Second Amendment.
But I think even things like YouTube and Twitter, like if you have anything like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook that has news, ABC's on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, NBC's on YouTube, Twitter, Fox, they're all on these platforms.
They have their own podcasts too.
You can't, even though you're a private company, I don't think you should be allowed to silence them because you are a broadcast company.
Yeah.
No matter how you look
at it. That's just the power they have.
That gives you the power to silence someone and take away their freedom of speech, which is protected under the Constitution. If you want to do business in America, you have to follow the Constitution. I think that's ridiculous that they're allowed to silence people. Yeah. What they did to Alex Jones was ridiculous. He got sued. Yeah. He lost the lawsuit. I agree with
Mind you, everybody, he's batshit crazy. We believe that. And also his theatrics.
He should have been sued. He should have paid up. I agree with that.
His self-admitted theatrics are a sight to see. Trust me, I've been following Alex Jones for a while. I never once took him that seriously. A lot of other people do. And the fact that the people on the higher ups, you know, in the upper echelon said, hey, listen, you're disruptive. You know what I mean? That's what they did.
That's not what killed him. What killed him was him saying Sandy Hook was a
yes. Which is why he's disruptive. It's why he's disruptive. He would say something that outlandish, but the thing is, shouldn't he be allowed to say whatever the fuck he wants? I don't think anybody should be silenced. You could ignore him.
The problem wasn't that he was saying whatever he wanted to say. The problem was he was calling for the harassment of the parents.
Oh yeah, that was out of line. That was out of line.
And that's a problem.
Yeah, but this is the thing. If you're on. Presumably.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Chris. I don't know if you missed what I said before. Hold on, Ryan. Here's a comment from Chris. What I said before is anything that has news. YouTube has news. Facebook has news. Twitter has news. Yeah. You are no longer a private. Yes, you're a private company, privately owned, but you're more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? not a commodity, but you're necessary for information to spread.
Right.
So if you're gonna do business in the United States and you're gonna spread news and let people talk, you have to follow the law of the land.
Are they? Do you mean they're essential?
No. It's
essential workers.
No, but it's just so much news and so much talking going on in these platforms. You have to follow the law anyway.
Well, this is the thing with Alex Jones. You sort of do if you're being
you know,
if you're being or trying to deliver your whatever information is, which he knows a lot of his shit is caca. But you know, if whatever information if you give something that's actually damaging, if it's damaging, then you have to own up to it. There's defamation. We have stuff written into, like you could be sued for into law that could be applicable in Alex Jones's case, 100%. But for him, at least listen, he's not completely deplatformed. He has his own website. He posts his own videos. You can go and watch him on his own shit.
He exposed the Bilderberg group. He was 100% right about that. He talked about the pedophile ring in Hollywood. Sure enough, it comes out that Jeffrey Epstein's running a pedophile ring that involves a lot of high-profile people. Look what happened to the fucking what's-his-face, Weinstein. This is the shit that Alex Jones has been talking about. So he's not completely, he's nuts, but he's not completely fucking nuts. A broken clock is right.
Right. But it's performance art, like we've heard other people say before. It's performance art. That's what his business is to get attention. Now, this is the thing. So shutting people down, cancel culture. You get a lot of people, who are being shut up, and because people obviously it's completely understood if you make a mistake as far as physical assault to somebody, raping somebody, an act that puts anybody in harm's way, is understood why people would have stuff taken away from them, as far as attention and or a media platform. But if you're somebody who's just freedom of speech, right? If you're just speaking in a public forum, I understand people petitioning to get you shut down from having a permit to do it at a park. But when you're on a public forum, like paper or electronic via internet, to be censored or forced to be censored and have some sort of law enforce that to such an extent to where it is you have the ability by law to just erase information. You know what I mean? That's when it becomes a serious problem. And that's when our first law is at most danger, right? I would say, because it's becoming more socially acceptable for people to be let's get rid of them. Let's whoever that is, it's one side could just be let's get rid of the other and try to use censorship to dissolve them into the abyss of information.
Yeah, exactly. I don't agree with censorship either. I think that violates the First Amendment. Look, you're always going to have bad voices or evil voices or people that are just not good, but they're allowed to have a voice. You're allowed to tell them, hey, you're wrong. This is my opinion. That's perfectly okay. That's the problem, though. People don't think that's okay anymore. No one wants to disagree. No one wants to be on different sides. It's like, you disagree with me? Oh, my God.
Right. And you know what? That disagreement. Yeah, I know. That disagreement is an exercise with us. You know what I mean? We should disagree with each other so we can exercise our righteousness. If we are righteous, if we are actually right about what the fuck we're talking about, you may find out that you're wrong. Do you know how many times in my life that I found out, you know what, I'm wrong? I do this podcast with you specifically, and I said this because I want to learn about things that I think I know shit about, but I don't know shit about. You know what I mean? Well, this is one of them. Do you, everybody in comment land, all the commenters, I want to know, how much do you think you really know about this unless you're an actual lawyer or a politician? I want to know. A lot of politicians don't know shit about the Constitution also, right, Mike?
No. I've heard AOC. You know who AOC is?
Yeah.
Let me just say.
I'm not a fan of hers. But I can understand why she...
I'm not a fan of hers, but she's done things said things I 100% agree with. She's also said a lot of things I don't agree with.
Like I
She
said,
a
I
lot to go
understand.
through,
I
but
understand why she's in office. You know what I mean? Because there
yeah,
are points that need to be brought up, but she goes overboard with some things.
yes.
But yeah.
So let's move on to the Second Amendment. Now, the Second Amendment is a very important wording here. It's very important wording. It's
Yes.
People like to switch things around, and they go, "Oh, but it says a well-regulated militia." Well, what's a militia? A militia is something formed by people, not military.
Yeah.
It's formed by people. So a
Yeah.
well-regulated. This is saying a well-regulated militia is being means like is necessary to the security of a free state. Stop. That's what you need to know. That's the most important thought right there. A well-regulated militia is necessary or being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people, not the militia, of the people, to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's my most important. That's not the most important constitution to me, but that's excuse me, not amendment. But that alone, New York City's breaking the Constitution.
Yes.
Chicago's breaking the Constitution. California's breaking it, and that is a problem. And that is always and let's be real here.
I'll tell you who ate though. I'll tell you who ate. Texas and Florida.
And you're not breaking the law. You're not breaking the Constitution. Dude, like, I think crime would go down in New York City if everyone could own a gun. Not everyone, but you know what I mean. Like, look.
Some people don't need one. Some people don't need to have one.
Shouldn't own a gun. If you were involved in a gun crime, and you did time for a gun crime, you shouldn't own a gun. If you have mental illness, you shouldn't have a gun. Not all mental illness, because some mental illness is not.
But the ones that would compromise you, like in a position with a firearm,
But everyone else should own a gun. Whether you want to defend your house, your home, or I even think your car. Like we're gonna get further down into this. You're gonna see how even when they search a person and when they search a car, it's fucking illegal.
And your home also. The way that it's done at home. So with this, my interpretation, the way that they worded it, right, and like had you said when you presented this Second Amendment, saying that we have to pay attention to how it's worded and its interpretation to how it's said now. Now let's start at the top, right, with the well-regulated militia, right? Now the thing is, you have states' rights that it's coming up a lot now in the COVID-19 era, and
it's not COVID.
Or coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. Right now, the lockdown. Oh, you better not be coughing, bro. I'm telling you. Motherfuckers are getting paranoid. I might get that shit through the internet. I heard they haven't proven that it can't be attracted through a podcast. You know that, right?
That's why I like this fucking thing. I was upset when it broke. It's
brand new. It's brand new. It's brand new. You're going to get a good hit off of it. Now this thing, right? Before you interrupted me with your fucking pot cough, your corona cough. Now, in this era, right, you have this topic of states' rights that comes up a lot. So now you do have, like in Virginia and Pennsylvania, I think Michigan, there's a few states that have like counties that are pretty much run by a small group of people who are a formed militia, and that's how they're represented. And it's completely 100% legal. Now, I don't know what happens on any, but they pretty much run the law there, and they work with the sheriff's office. You know what I mean? Of the county or of the state troopers or whatever, and they're allowed to exist as a militia or whatever's considered militia. There's some militias that operate that aren't legal in the states that they operate in. You know what I mean? So because they haven't met the criteria of being a legal militia within that state. Now the state is who differentiates. If they have an issue, they could call in the National Guard. But the state is the one who deals with these people first, right? Before the FBI comes in, like a Waco or some shit like that. You know what I mean? So the right to bear arms as far as like the citizens, you cannot form a militia without citizens, and you cannot form a militia unless the citizens are armed to begin with, right? So to protect yourself, let's just say you're somewhere in Bumblefuck, New Jersey, right? Right after the Declaration of Independence. And the Constitution is law. That is what is now law. We are independent. This is what our founding fathers say. This is the law that we're starting off with. And we're going to work on it as we go along. But this one, just to make sure that England could be knocking on our door, which they did in 1812. They said, hello, 20 years later, coming at you. You know what I mean? So they did do that. So they needed to be prepared for an action like that, just in case they needed. There was no such thing as a draft. Like, yeah, there was a draft, but people would just show up and be like, I got guns. And
well, yeah, but when they fought for their independence,
right.
the military was the people. It was all the people.
Right.
You want to address Chris's question? I'll give my opinion next. It's on the screen.
Okay. All right. 1 second. So that's when that was all formed. But the truth still stands that there are threats, foreign and domestic, that you need to, protect yourself from. We're not invulnerable to invasion, although it's unlikely. I understand. Okay, I get it. But your property, which we're all incorporated, having social security numbers now, right? We're all incorporated. If you own your property, you have the right to protect that. And sometimes, lethal force, I agree with when it's protecting the life of you and your family members. So I believe that a firearm is something that you need to own for multiple reasons, not to sound like a prepper or to be paranoid. But the thing is, how else are you going to protect yourself? What, are you just going to let yourself be victimized?
Exactly.
I don't believe that as an American, as the core belief of being an American, whether you're using the law to fight for you or you're using a weapon to fight for you within your legal rights, you have the right to defend yourself at any cost. Anyway, Chris, I'm very proud of the Second Amendment, but do you think the Founding Fathers could have imagined the weapons we have today? Mike, your opinion. Do you think they would have fucking predicted this shit? They were men of science. At least Ben Franklin was.
I mean, science. I wouldn't call it science, but look, I don't think. See that I understand that question. I get that question a lot, but I don't think that's an even important question to ask, because you have to go back to the Second Amendment and what it's for.
Yeah.
The Second Amendment is to defend yourself not only against enemies of the state, enemies of your country that might try to invade, but it's also to protect you from your own government. So that means, based on that theory of that law, you should definitely own whatever the government owns. Now, I'm not saying we should own nukes, but
it's a match,
also
right? You
not
mean it's
saying,
like a matching
exactly.
their.
I'm not saying we should own nukes, but we should own some rifles that can do some damage.
Don't recommend owning any sort of nuclear fucking charged bullets or anything like that. I don't know if they make them. It sounds like Russia probably makes them. But
it does.
Now I'm gonna be assassinated by a Russian operative now. But I'm saying, but now knowing into the future, this is the thing. Like you said, matching the technology, it makes complete sense. But when this law was written, Chris, it was written before they invented the shell casing on the bullet. When they wrote this, they were stuffing muskets with packed gunpowder pouches.
Well, that's what he's aware of that. That's why he's saying
there was no rifling. So they did not know. But like I said, and I brought up the idea to Mike of that there were men of science. They believed in science. They wanted to separate church and state because they believed in progress. So I believe that they knew that there was a possibility they saw in the 1700s, like technology triple because of warfare, because of what Spain, France, England, everybody was getting into with advancements. Rifling was invented around that time, but it didn't become to be a normal thing until almost the Wild West Civil War, So, there were primitive guns, but they did damage. They did kill people. It wasn't as fast as the stuff that we have now with automatic weapons. But the thing is, like Mike said, you got to match technology with technology. So if somebody could possibly have an illegal gun and break into my home and it has certain firepower, what's to say that I should not defend myself with equal? Even if it's less, can I have less? If this guy comes in with an automatic machine gun, should I not be allowed to own a handgun to at least try to defend myself? Because there are cases like that as well, So that could come up. I mean, maybe not so much in the burbs, but maybe in the hood. I don't know, but I feel like, you know, the law is the law, and what happens is sometimes if we are completely disarmed, let's just say the most leftist fucking liberal gets exactly what they want, and their utopia comes to pass, and everybody is disarmed. You can't even have a sharp tipped kitchen knife. Everything's blunt ended. You can't even stab anybody anymore. Let's say take everything, right? Somebody could take anything to kill somebody else. It won't stop murder in the general sense of murder, right?
Yeah, I put his most recent question up. I'll address it really quick. Look, I could kill a lot of people with a fully automatic M16 and a grenade launcher, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think we should be allowed to own explosives. The Second Amendment is arms, which are mostly guns. You're not going to say explosives. So anything with explosives should be out of the question. Automatic, I feel I could do more damage with a semi-automatic rifle than an automatic rifle because I know how to shoot a fucking gun.
Yes, this is why. And the reason why, and I know why, is because you have more control and you can do more damage. When you're shooting and the gun's just going off, with the recoil, and even if the round is
beside the point, but yes.
Yeah. But I'm just you could be allowed to illegally own a semi-automatic, and still you're going to, you know, if you're going to be a dick. And
if someone's going to want to kill people, they're going to kill people. They could use a knife. They could use a bomb. They can make a pipe bomb. They look at the fucking, whatchamacallit, the Boston Marathon fucking bombing, the terrorist shit that happened.
The pressure cooker bomb.
They used 2 pressure cookers. Yeah. I mean, it's not, guns are not, and you know what? If someone had an automatic weapon at some of these big shootings, they might not have lasted as long.
Can I just say this, Mike? This is the problem that I have with this whole issue, right? It's because when you say that to somebody who's the layman, who doesn't know much about firearms at all, right? Mm-hmm. And what happens is they're brought to this topic. They're thinking of things that are should be illegal for you to own. You should not be able to own them. When we were at your bachelor party and we went shooting guns on the range, half those guns that we shot are illegal in most of the states. Not really illegal in Florida, though. But they're illegal in most of the states. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't really own these super destructive guns in most places. But the thing is to take away your right to own a hunting rifle, because you should be able to feed yourself. What people don't understand is surges in deer population all over this country. You should be able to legally own a firearm to hunt deer because there's no natural predators in a lot of these states for them.
Forget hunting. I don't want to go to hunt.
But I'm just saying to own a firearm, to own a firearm, a handgun to defend yourself, a shotgun to defend yourself. You should be allowed to own these things. I
would want a shot. Now another thing, like we currently have a situation in any of these areas where certain shootings might have happened, and it's illegal to own an automatic rifle. Now, in some instances,
hey, listen, I live next door to Parkland. Yeah.
They used a bump stock to shoot, and that could help you shoot as if it's an automatic weapon. Now, if I have a 9mm, which those cops had, and I busted in that room to stop that guy, and he turned that gun at me, I have almost I have like a 20% chance of shooting him before I get killed because I have a 9mm pistol against a rifle. Yeah. So chances
are, if you're good enough, you could probably have some sort of a chance, especially if it's multiple targets walking into a room against one guy. If he has a semi-automatic rifle,
but they should only be allowed to use it if they have to encounter that same firepower.
But for him to draw and for you to draw, you're walking in guns drawn. For him to pull his gun up, it takes him a second to aim. You're already aimed on him. They could still stand a chance.
No. I mean,
this is the thing.
Well, of course, but I'm talking about it's a 9mm against a rifle. You might lose. You might lose.
You might lose in any gunfight. It's any gunfight. You might lose. Knife fights are the same way. Any knife fight, somebody's gonna fucking lose for sure. You know what I mean? There's no way to get around that. But as far as like advantage and stuff like that, well, the semi-automatic rifle and the bump stock. The bump stock, what that does
Well,
is
that's the reason why that
it lessens. It doesn't make you automatic. What it does is it lessens the recoil, so that you can recover faster. So you could shoot, and stay dead on. You know what I mean? It doesn't make you any.
It shoots. It's a shoot from the bump.
Right.
So when you pull the trigger, it recoils and that shoots the second shot. Yeah, so you could turn it when you pump it. When you pump it,
like a double tap.
So it's like it gets fucking pretty quick.
Yeah.
Now,
but
the reason why I brought that up is because when that was going on, that shooting, there were officers in the hallways, and they didn't go in. There was a couple of people that they didn't go in because they were waiting for more firepower because of what they heard. They weren't going to go in with their little 9mm. They were waiting for more firepower. Then when finally backup came, they went in, and the guy, I think, killed himself before they came in or some shit, right? Or something. I forgot the fucking.
Yeah, well, he may have actually. He may have harmed people in that time too. So because they were suing, I think, the sheriff's department or something like that. It's literally the next neighborhood over for me. You go 2 miles northwest, and you're in Parkland.
So the Third Amendment.
People still talk about that down here. The third, number 3. Let's learn something new.
You can read it. I'm still.
No soldier shall, in time of peace or quartered in any house, without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. What?
No soldier.
No soldier
shall. No soldier shall, in the time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner.
I know what this means.
So the military can't come and just say, your house is mine. I need to sleep here.
Yes,
unless
they used to
it's
do
a time
that.
of war.
Yes, during the Revolutionary War, they didn't have any houses.
No, nor in the time of war. They can't do it in the time of war either. They can't do it in the time of peace or war without the consent of the owner, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. But that last line is shady.
Yes, and the reason why, and I'll tell you why, they could come in, like if a soldier comes to your home, they can't just walk into your home and say, we're sleeping here. They have to have a lawman. There were no police, but they had to have somebody with a decree saying that we have chosen your home to be for the housing this military whatever. And 5 guys would walk in, sleep in your living room for 2 or 3 nights.
So we know what this one's about. We could skip this one. We know this is pretty fucking simple. Pretty fucking simple. The next one's a good one.
That one, I like to call it the number 3 is called the Airbnb Amendment, right? It's the Airbnb Amendment.
Airbnb Amendment.
Number 4.
This is a good one. This is a very good one.
All right. You read it, Mike.
I'll zoom in to make it easier. Is that too zoomed in? I gotta move down though.
No, that's good. That's good. It's perfect.
It's right there.
All right.
I have really bad cotton mouth, so all right.
That's fine. my whistle's wet with a giant cup of go fuck yourself.
The right
of the people
to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation. Particularly
this is familiar.
described by the search and I can't see the bottom one. By the affirmation and particularly describing
the place to be
searched.
And the persons or things to be seized. The warrant. This is the warrant. It has to be stated.
So this is
okay. Now we know this. So don't we know this?
This is a very important.
We know this.
And I'm stoned as fuck, but hold on. The most yes. What's very important is the bottom, the last, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized.
Like my address, and the effects that they're looking for as evidence. If there's a crime that I'm suspected of,
it has to be specific. So this is, they can't search your house, your persons, your papers, or anything. Your effects. So they need a warrant to even search you. It says persons. Houses,
I got you.
Is your house.
Now watch.
Papers is your papers. They can't walk up to you and ask you for ID without a warrant.
Your property, right? And, or because they have no right to, right? Unless they have a warrant to ask for your ID,
exactly.
Right? So now hold on a
what
second. What's funny, Mike? You don't see what's funny is that the first two laws, right, were to protect the people, right? The third law, right, was in a sense a branch of protecting the people, but it was put into play because it was commonplace during the Revolutionary War, right? That soldiers would be holed up in a house.
The British troops would come and just go, "I'm taking this house. We're in war right now. Get the fuck out."
Yeah, and take your stuff, and they would eat all your stuff, right? So these are two very important things. Now, what's funny is that a lot of people say that the Second Amendment is outdated. You could say the third is outdated. The third is outdated, right? I mean, it could apply during like some sick sort of like hostile takeover wartime thing,
no, I
right?
mean, if we ever get attacked and there's a war going on U.S. soil, God forbid, that says the military can't just come in and take your shit.
But it's sort of outdated, right? In a sense. No,
I don't think it's outdated at all.
The second one, I don't think is outdated.
Us.
No, what I'm saying is there are people, not us. There are people who will say the Second Amendment is outdated. I don't say it's outdated, but they say the Second Amendment's outdated.
I'm saying the third isn't outdated either.
I know, but the third argument, I don't think it is either. But an argument could be made that could be outdated.
It's the most outdated out of all of them.
My point is number four. Number four, aside from number one, is the most relevant to our time now. It's not outdated. What this amendment says, is that you ain't got no right to come near my shit or enter my property or to seize anything that belongs to me without probable cause. Without probable cause
you can't ask for my papers. You can't ask for my ID without a warrant or probable cause.
Yeah, that's pretty serious because the thing is, it's something that gets skipped. Like there's something in the process that when law enforcement
and the probable cause has to
not
be
shitting on them,
exactly
not shitting
what they're
on them.
looking for you. So
right. You see a lot of cases get overturned because fucking something was skipped in this process. You know what I mean? Whether or not it was whether the warrant was, although most warrants are pretty legit, but as far as like incriminating evidence for something that has nothing to do with what you're looking for, And the thing is,
well, you can't just stop people and search them. Obviously, you can't just go pull someone over and go.
We were dealing in New York. New York, you remember there was a stop and frisk. You know what I mean? And it was stopped obviously because it was a huge.
Well, I was going to say this is one of the amendments they've attacked a lot by using state laws.
Yeah.
And
yeah, man, this one's pretty serious.
Because
it's understood.
State laws, Chris. See.
Yeah.
Here, Chris says, how was stop and frisk a thing with the Fourth Amendment?
Because stop and frisk.
This is the amendment that has been attacked the most, basically.
It's on your person. It's on your person. Like you can stop.
You're not an idiot. We're idiots. We're dumbfounded dipshits. We're not bright. You're not. You're smart. If you read this basically says.
What it says to me is that if I'm walking in the street, you can't just be like empty your pockets and then. Because if there's something incriminating, shouldn't I have the fifth? Shouldn't I be able to plead the fifth?
What about the fifth? That's the fourth, not the fifth. Well, we'll get there.
No. What I'm saying, if a cop comes up to me, the Fourth Amendment, you have no right, but no, you got to run your shit. Well, I'm pleading the fifth because right now I have not the right to incriminate myself.
Yes, I 100% know what you're saying. I was going to say, me walking to school several times in high school, walking to school, the cops would stop and search me.
Yeah.
What are you saying? You doing? I don't have nothing. Oh, we saw you. We think you're at weed.
They asked for my program. At the time. Remember the program? Let me see a program.
They want to see if you're supposed to be in school yet, and they'll take you in for truancy. Fucking scumbags. And this is why people who swear by the Constitution and shit say we already live in a police state because it's
a lot of it has been bent and loopholed. You know what I mean? Like a lot of it has been interpreted differently. This is my favorite.
This is a long one. Jeez. Yes.
This is my favorite. But could we get to the synapse? let's just say I cannot say anything. If I have the right to not say anything that could incriminate myself, that means I don't got to tell you shit if I did or did not. That's what
Well,
that
this is a
means.
long one, so this is going to mean a lot.
Let's read this. No person shall be
I need
held
water.
to answer. All right, you go get some water. I'm
I'm
going to
listening.
finish.
I can hear you.
I'm going to take a sip, internet world, of the rest of the coffee that's in my giant cup of go fuck myself or yourself.
It's booze,
Whoever.
guys. It's booze.
Okay, let me read this. Number 5. 5 is my favorite number, Mike, by the way. That's my lucky number. I love 5. 5 is my favorite number.
This is the most important amendment.
The fifth amendment.
No
person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Well, now what that means at the very end of it is that sometimes, like, you're liquidated because you owe your penalties to the state, right? Which happens sometimes. I guess self-incrimination. That means if you, even by accident, broke the law, you don't have to admit to that. You don't. You don't have to admit to that in a court of law. You don't have to testify, I guess, and say that. You could literally, if they call you up and you're forced to go up, you could plead the fifth.
You don't have to answer questions unless you're in front of a grand jury.
What it's saying, an assumption, is that, yeah, all right, I may have killed 15 people, but I'm not going to tell you about that right now because I have the right to do this.
Unless you're in front of the grand jury.
A grand jury, well, the thing is, sometimes grand jury shit could be locked. You know that, right? And there could be fucking tons of shit. Yeah, I raped 17 women, and I drugged their mothers so I could rape them, and they could be like hard crimes. And it could be like, oh, well, we're only going to try for these two. So everything in the grand jury testimony could be fucking shut and locked, and you don't want to ever hear about it. So they're only going after the 2 because the other 15 they couldn't prove much evidence on. But he could have admitted to it in a grand jury, and I guess that happens. That's scary. That is scary, though, because the thing is, it does protect people, monsters, but the great many people were being persecuted for no reason other than political affiliation. So they were protecting people for just saying, this is protecting, number 5 is to protect number 1, correct?
Basically.
If you think about it. I have the right to remain silent, because they tell you do. When they throw
you don't have to talk to anybody but the grand jury. So in other words, until you're put on the stand and you take a fucking you're under oath, you don't have to answer fucking shit. They can have the video of you stabbing 5,000 people, and you don't have to answer a fucking question until you put your hand up and say I take an oath.
Man.
That's it.
I just love, you know what the thing is, I love, and I'm going to bring this back to Dave Chappelle, because he's like one of my top 10 favorite comedians ever, if not one of the greatest comedians of all time. He had a skit on the Chappelle Show, right?
Definitely.
It was awesome. He had Scarface, right, from Half Baked, was in it, and he's at the desk in court. The judge is like yapping, and fucking lawyers yapping, and it's a commercial essentially for an infomercial for a $19.99 box that tells people to shut up, right? Called like the Wrap It Up box.
Yeah.
Now, there's two things I wanted to mention. This segues into the next. So this one, he's like telling the judge, wrap it up, B, wrap it up, B, wrap it up, B, right? Because the judge is like, clack, 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 right? He's hitting the fucking gavel. He did another court sketch, right? Where he's like, if I were a celebrity, how celebrities get treated different, right? And in a sense, he uses this Fifth Amendment to do that wrap it up thing. It's the same joke, but it's put in a different way. Except it's a spin on how like rich people have different like law than people of middle class or poor,
well, they totally do.
Poor background. Yeah, totally, 100%. It's proven in statistics, right? So, like he's like singing, like, I plead the fifth. He starts singing it. Every time I hear the Fifth Amendment thing, I think of Dave Chappelle singing 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. And then he writes F-I-F on a pad, and the judge says, and he lifts the pad and says fifth. It's one of the funniest things ever. So when that sketch came out, I wanted to look into what the fuck this shit was. I was like, all right, wait, you get to say, you get to not say anything, and then you see all these, like, and then you Google it, right? You Google it, and then you see all these mob trials with these mobsters pleading the Fifth Amendment, right? And they're all pretty much like, I don't have to tell you that I buried this body, or I helped this guy plan a murder, or I extorted money from this person, or I was into racketeering or rackets or like some sort of robbery or something. And you could literally, because to save face for yourself, just say, I don't have to say anything, which makes you an independent entity in yourself within the rights that you're given by the United States, right?
Basically.
That's like that whole sovereign citizen. You know that whole sovereign citizen?
Yeah.
You know that whole, like those,
look,
a lot of those guys are wacko.
Yeah, but
the thing is, I understand the principle. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all fucking nuts. But the principle's there. It's there. It makes sense. Like, based on the Constitution, you pull me over, sir, can I get ID? Why? What crime have I been suspected of? Well, at that point, you probably are getting pulled over because you ran a red light or something. Then that's the crime you've been suspected of. Now you have to show ID. That's different. But, like, those sovereign citizen people are like, oh, I'm a sovereign citizen. You can't ticket me. Yes, I can.
Yo,
I can ticket you.
I'm dying to say that shit. Listen, I know, knock on wood, I haven't been driving a lot lately because of the Rona. Not that I have the Rona, but, just nothing to drive for.
Yeah, there's nothing to do.
Almost the time. I'm doing this. This is what I do, Michael. This is my new job. Talking on the internet.
So yeah, me too. It's great, right? It's fucking great. Hopefully we get paid for it soon, but I doubt that'll ever happen.
Right. I'm not driving, and I never get fucking pulled over, but I guarantee you I'll fucking go shopping the next time I need to go fucking Rona shopping with the fucking gear on and shit and the gloves. I'll get pulled over. I'm dying to have that, like, oh man, I want to say I'm a sovereign citizen. And just fucking see how that goes. No, listen, just to see how it goes. I know it's a disaster.
I'm reading the Constitution with you and basically going through the rights that are being violated and how the Constitution is. But if I was a cop and I pulled you over and you said that, I'm dragging you out and tasing you.
No, the Fifth Amendment says nothing about military courts, Chris. This is the state. This is actually.
Ignored what I just said. It was funny.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mike. Repeat that. Repeat it, Mike. I'm sorry.
You didn't hear me?
No. I'm sorry.
I said,
I'm sorry.
We're going over the Constitution and all this stuff and how the rights are being violated. But if I was a cop and I pulled you over and you said you were a sovereign citizen, I would drag you out and tase you.
Oh, dude, they would do that to me if I didn't say that.
Oh, I heard Florida cops are the worst. I don't think I ever got pulled over in Florida yet.
Yo, some of them are like, all right, and that's probably because like I'm a white guy. But yo, a lot of these guys are juice heads. Like they're like ripped and tan, and they're just like, you figure Cali cops would be like that, but they're not so much. Like, when you're at Cali, They're just like New York cops. They're just like regular motherfuckers. Like New York cops are such regular dudes, really. Most of them are just like total regular dudes' job, and it's like I like the idea.
They just want to do their job and go fucking home.
Yeah, and go home, and like LA cops are like that too, believe it or not. Like, you know, like the major, but down here in Florida, like the county cops, they're all ripped and like narcissistic, and they're just like looking to bark. Like they're just like they're waiting for competition. So fucking
they're meatheads, bro.
A guy like me would be like, if I said I was a sovereign citizen, I'm pretty sure I would be tased. I would be tased and maced probably. They wouldn't shoot me because like I'm not a black dude. But the thing is, like,
I would tase you and mace you too. I would do the same thing. I mean,
they would definitely.
Oh, you're a sovereign citizen? Get out of the car, sir.
They would definitely tase me and mace me probably because they're like, you know, just looking for a fight, not because of America or because I'm America. I'm a little American. Like, listen, I like to say, you know, I lean left with a lot of social issues like that, with a lot. Like, I lean hard left on a lot of social issues. But the thing is, like, you know, with some of these laws, I do lean right. You know, I'm admitted to it. I don't give a shit how you demonize me. I'm a human. I respect all your beliefs too, and wherever you come from, left or right. And that's why I get along with most of you fucking people on both sides, because I could see your point of view. You know, sometimes you got to see the other person's.
So the Sixth Amendment.
And it sucks. Number 6.
In all criminal
prosecutions. Okay, you go with this. This is a little big words.
The accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial.
Okay, we know this
by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed. That's fucked up. So if I like murder, I'm not saying I want to murder a teacher, but say I murder a teacher down the block.
Yeah.
The jury has to be from this area. They're gonna. What if she deserved? I'm kidding. She doesn't.
Well.
I guess it makes sense. You gotta be judged by your peers. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that was because
I just try to make funny things out.
Well, the thing is, back then you got to understand that these bonnet-wearing motherfuckers were like within their own separate group. Like you had like the Amish here and the Quakers here and the fucking, you know, capitalist federalists here, and you had the fucking Irish shanty fucking neighborhood where all the
this amendment just means it's a fair trial. Basically, we can skip this.
Right.
It's a fair and speedy
trial. Yeah,
and speedy trial. Fair and speedy. You have to have people defending you and people defending.
But the language is interpreted. You got to understand. Some of the language is outdated, and we understand what they mean. But there's certain frills that are put in that are like, well, we don't have vagabonds and wenches now.
I haven't read anything about vagabonds and wrenches, bro.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
It's worded where there's no like if, ands, or buts. It's straight to the point. In all criminal prosecutions, comma, the accused shall enjoy the right, meaning don't fuck with the
enjoy it. Like, am I gonna love being prosecuted? This shit, yo, is this fucking gonna feel like sex? Am I gonna be like put up in front of a jury and I'm just gonna orgasm? Like, am I gonna enjoy it?
Hold on.
What?
To answer that, Chris, we're gonna get there because we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Oh, Jim Crow! Holy shit! Mike's gonna say the N-word. Chris, Mike's gonna say the N-word.
No. But I think they never needed to pass the 13th Amendment. Or is it the 14th? It's 13th, right? The freeing the slaves.
14th. No, 14th. That was 14.
Was it 14th?
That was 14.
Okay.
Yeah. Or I could be wrong.
Regardless. Now, they shouldn't have never. Now, hear me out. They should have never had to make that amendment because the Constitution covers all men and women. That's the thing. It should have covered all men and women. So the way
all you just
it was
had to
written,
do was
it was just
include everybody. That's it. It's just a social thing.
Exactly. They wrote it down though because government is stupid, and the only way they're going to start obeying what they want to do is if you write it down on paper. I get it. I'm not saying it's a bad amendment. I'm not saying it's a bad amendment. I'm saying the fact that it needed to be written that these people were people too is fucking ridiculous. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it's the day and age. It's not an excuse.
Because based on the document alone, it's no. I get why it had to be written. but the fact that it had to ever be written and never was a thought to begin with, and how different the world would be if it never. That's another whole other discussion.
Of course.
That's a weird episode.
Yeah.
Two white dudes are gonna talk about what the world would be like if there was no slavery.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Should we do that? That's the next episode.
I would.
Is that the next episode?
Do from my perspective. I don't know the next episode. I have to build up some bravery for that one, Michael.
Well, we're not doing the next episode. Will be Monday. Will be Monday. So we have time to do research.
All right. Yeah. You know the thing is, like, yeah, I'll be. Hey, fuck it, man. Hell yeah, dude. You know what?
No, it's not. It's not gonna be racist. It's gonna be.
No,
truth.
not at all. Not at all. But this is the thing. This is what's gonna happen. I don't think I'm a racist, but I guarantee you, at the end of that podcast, I'm gonna find out exactly how racist I am because I'm gonna be in denial.
No, but it's not gonna be racist though. Like to be honest, I'm not happy about the history. But if the history didn't happen,
no way.
Hold on. But if the history didn't happen, I wouldn't exist. That's a problem.
None of us.
Because no, I'm mixed race. I have Puerto Rican family members. Right. I have Japanese family members. I have. So like.
If it didn't go down, like, if it didn't go down the way that it went down, everybody that we know, I wouldn't be here because somebody wouldn't have taken a shot to get on a fucking boat 100 years ago. You know what I mean? Let's
say this for the episode. Yes.
My homeboy, fucking, his parents came here from fucking Sicily in the 80s and they took a shot. This guy, I don't know, I just met this dude, but fucking his family was fucking drugged here from West Africa fucking 300 years ago, and he wouldn't be here if none of that fucking shit happened. And I love all these people who are here now, right?
Yeah, that's exactly,
happen. I may not be here unless I have family members who died of a fucking potato famine. So tragedy begets sometimes a legacy in a sense.
Right.
Legacy sucks.
Yes. Let's save it for Monday. Yes.
Monday.
So this is the speedy trial and a fair trial.
Which you deserve it. You deserve it.
Yeah. Everyone deserves a fair trial.
Guilty, right? Does this say?
But hold on. I think yes, it doesn't say innocent until proven guilty. We're not there yet. It's coming.
Okay.
But that's a separate amendment. They didn't jam it on. This is strictly about impartial jury of the state and how fast your trial has to be, and you're allowed witnesses for you and witnesses against you. Because if it was one-sided, you had no one to defend your honor. It's not fair. So you have to have witnesses for you.
You do have the right to defend yourself if you want to. You do have that.
Everything else is a separate amendment. Let's move down to the next one.
Gotcha. 7. In suits at common law. Okay. Number 7. In suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20. Do they count inflation, Michael? Before I continue, do they count inflation?
We found the outdated amendment.
Okay, now that's question number 1. Question number 2, before I continue. How do you establish a currency? Right as you're trying to write the laws, aren't you still using the English pound? Is that
no? Because I think you gotta remember, England was not right around the corner. So
no, they were across the pond.
So when they rebelled,
as
they
my
fucking
ancestors
did their thing and killed all the fucking people that took over everything and then did their law. So they had money. They probably already had money that was here too, and they probably had to pay a tax on it for me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, penny came from England. Pence, penny. So anyway, regardless. Anyway.
Oh, this makes sense.
Shall exceed from $20. The right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall by otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States. Wow, this dictates the whole judicial system. This dictates there's no state sovereignty on this. This is what they say. Re-examined in any court of the United States, then according to the rules of common law. So common law will be, obviously all the little, like bullet point laws, And I guess like you have to follow all these things in this, and the state's judicial system will be trumped by federal law if it's seen to be like a Supreme Court case, which I don't think they established the three branches of government, right? At this point, this is just a law. They don't have the executive, judicial, and legislative branch yet, right? This is before any of that.
We'll get there. I
Okay.
think it's an amendment.
All right. So any suits. So suits. Now the thing is, suits could be any sort of case. Suits would mean case because they would just say that back then, you know. Which now a suit is just something as like a disagreement or a reimbursement, something like that. But now it's like a case, like in any sort of case that the government could try you for, or law enforcement.
Well, this is civil trials. It's civil trials.
But you deserve a jury for any petty cases.
It's only
so petty,
talking about
back then to $20.
Common law. It's civil trials.
Right, civil trials.
I can't sue you. If I sue you for over a certain amount, it has to go before it's a grand jury.
Really?
That's what they said.
I can't just sue you for $1 million and let a judge take care of that shit.
Don't forget, there's other amendments that change other amendments. So this might have been amended to make me to be for more money. You know. So let's move it on. Moving on.
All right. Sorry.
This one's easy. This one's easy. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. You can't waterboard. Whoopsie. You can't.
Pull nails out of toes. You can't do that.
No. And you can't.
Blow torches.
You can't arrest someone who has no pennies to their name and put them in jail and put bail at $50,000.
So you're saying no lashing, no flogging, no starvation, none of that?
No.
Fuck. All right.
That's why the
CIA the excessive bail. The excessive bail. Right. The excessive bail. Now, do you watch Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul? Have you been keeping up with Better Call? Have you watched the Better Call Saul?
No.
The cartel guy's asking for $7.5 million in bail that the judge posted, which in that crime, any other time might have gotten $500,000 million. Seemed excessive. Now I know it's television, but they try to use real life scenarios, and I'm pretty sure that it's probably come up that somebody's bail is like in the digits or more. And it's like knowing what somebody has in assets and posting bail. Do you think bail should just be like, you know, can't there just be like a average? Because that sounds like excessive.
They go based on the chances of you running away and not coming back. They go based on how much you're worth.
So they made your liability. You know, they made your liability a business.
Well, it's not a business. You get that money back. Did you know that?
It's bonded. It's posted bond, right? Yeah. But if you run away, you don't get it back.
If your bail is
if you run away, you don't get it back.
And you put up $150,000.
Yeah.
For your bail, when you show up to court, that goes back. I don't think it goes into your pocket.
No, I know that. I know that. But the thing is that if you bounce and you go to fucking Tijuana, you do not get that $150,000 back.
So, moving on up.
Next, number 8. Is this 8 or 9? 9. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. So this is saying that you could change it? The people say you want to change it, you could change it?
Shall not be construed.
So what the fuck does this mean then, Mike? Am I speaking English? Does this mean that one can't trump the other unless it fixes the other? Is that what that means? The enumeration in the Constitution. The enumeration in the Constitution.
I'm trying to read.
Let me read it again with the proper commas, right? The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. So could there be added? You could add amendments. That's what it's saying. There's the number that it is now, saying that we're going to stop at 10, we're going to stop at 13, we're going to stop at 13. But if you
No,
make a
that's not what it
14,
means. Sorry,
if you
I'm
make
reading.
a 14, you're not constricted to it being 13. You can make a 14
No,
or 15.
it's
No?
basically telling you that there's certain rights that aren't specifically in the Constitution, but you can't construe or deny those rights. They're still the people's rights. So, like, where's the definition I just saw?
That means you can't spin any of the language. It's verbatim.
So, like, there's fundamental rights and natural rights that just are implied. Like, you have the right. Where's an example? I just saw examples. The right to travel. So they can't tell you can't travel to say Boston.
Wait a minute.
You're not allowed to go to Boston.
Wait a minute, though,
Right?
Mike. Wait a minute.
The right to vote. They can't tell you can't vote.
Yes, but the
The
thing
right
is,
to
voting was
personal
restricted.
matters private.
Women couldn't vote back then, and
But like I
slaves
said,
couldn't vote.
This wasn't. I said this is going to come up in the Constitution, but it never says only white people, so it doesn't matter.
Oh,
But this is basically there's certain rights that aren't in the Constitution, but you can't deny them either, and they're just natural rights.
Right. Okay. Your God-given rights, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they didn't use the words God-given rights.
Yeah, they didn't. They really tiptoed around that back then, which is like weird that it got so involved later on.
The powers not delegated
10?
to the United States. Yes. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. Or to the people. So it's this.
So the power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution. So what does that mean? The power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, or reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. Is this about states' rights? Is that what they're trying to say? You're hearing a lot about this. States' rights. My state could open. I want it to open.
It helps
I want my state
define the division of power between. You heard me?
Start again.
It was added to the Constitution. This amendment states that any power not specifically given by the federal government by the Constitution belongs to the state and the people.
Oh, states' rights and local law.
So basically, if it's not in the Constitution, the states can decide.
Yeah, so state law and local law. You could have county law. Like,
but the
for
Constitution
example,
says the right to bear arms. So why are states deciding to take away the rights to bear arms if it says you can't?
You can't, but on a federal level, you can't. Now, hold on. Let's just say you are Jack Daniel's distillery in that county in Tennessee, right? Where it's a dry county. They still have prohibition, still exists there, right? Now, the state of Tennessee has lifted this law because at a point, when they lifted prohibition, states didn't fall into line right away. There were a lot of hardliners that stuck with it, and then eventually the whole country became. That's why like legal limits were state ran. So it would be 18 in one state, 21 in another for a while. So let's just say you were in that county in Tennessee. Now local law, right, dictates that nobody's to drink any booze in this county. You could still, but you cannot sell alcohol or drink it, right? Okay, so they dictated their law on a local level. The state does not infringe on that local law, right? But if the state wanted to, they can make the whole state dry. It's not a good idea because if it's, that's why the marijuana argument. That's the, like every state is going to be legal because it just makes sense for everybody to be legal at that point. So, nobody's going to be the dry state. But if they wanted to, they can make that law. And it's the state law that you cannot do that. So the government cannot infringe on that state if the people of the state vote that law in. So they cannot be like overlords. They can't be overlords and be like, no, you have to have our law alcohol is legal. Let's just say that, which is
Don't
like
forget,
nobody wants to be that.
alcohol was illegal at one point.
Yes, for 10 years. It was New Year's 1920 all the way until, I think, almost New Year's 1930, right? Wasn't it? Might have been. Alcohol made the mob. The mob that we know it from all that fantasy movies that we watch, all the fantasy and even the based on reality ones. The reason why you all love them is because of alcohol and prohibition. That's when it all started. You would not have that if not for prohibition. There would not be that. Your first
It's
taste,
so crazy.
your first taste of the mob, if prohibition didn't happen, would likely be the cartel. That would be your introduction to it, because that would be the next closest thing afterwards. You wouldn't even know what
that's
the
why,
mob
like,
was.
I think it was the 18th Amendment that fucking prohibited alcohol. That's why I think they should have stopped at like 12 or 13. 13, sorry. 13
It's crazy that alcohol, such a specific substance, made it to this long list of laws. Long. This fucking thing's long. How deep are
it doesn't.
We're an hour.
We're done with the Bill of Rights. We're done with the
we're-
Bill of Rights. So we went through most of it.
Yeah, but we're just a little bit more than halfway through it, right?
We're only doing the Bill of Rights. When people talk about the Constitution,
so now let's shit talk about all the rest of the random.
No, I posted two up there. I posted the 13th Amendment, which is the one that bans slavery. It was the 13th.
Right.
So that's
which
up there.
is
and
good.
The 18th Amendment,
nobody should be. Yeah, nobody should be enslaved. Period.
18th Amendment, which was the banning of alcohol, which was hilarious. They thought it was a good idea to ban alcohol.
Yeah, they had a lot of lobbying from religious groups, is what did it. And the same
they drink wine though.
Paper industry and marijuana. Well, I don't know. I think like fucking churches, Catholic churches were the only people who could get wine. It was very low alcohol content wine, I think. But there were speakeasies everywhere. Everybody was doing it.
The fucking cops were doing it, and they were just locking people up for it.
Nobody stopped drinking.
Nope.
No. It's the same thing with the paper industry lobbying cannabis. And if
no one stopped smoking. No one.
It's still going strong, stronger than ever, and it's almost illegal.
Illegal, which is great, but
yeah. I mean, listen. Imagine the amendment. What is it? How many are there? 18.
No, in total.
19. Yeah.
Way
How
more.
many total? Next question. 22. Is it 23? 21. 27.
There is
26.
27. 27.
Ooh, 27. So imagine like 28 is the marijuana law, the federal marijuana, and
the legalization of cannabis.
Legalization. Man, that's the next step, man.
But then state's going to be assholes.
Do you guys comment land agree that marijuana should be illegal across the country? And if not, why? Is it because you two are not a pothead? Are you afraid of marijuana? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. The whiskey that I just drank tonight was way more dangerous than the marijuana that I had smoked ever. And it's a giant cup. That was a lot of whiskey in here, by the way. That was a lot. It was a lot of whiskey. Gotta say it with the hard H. So yo, listen. I mean, like honestly, like a lot of people think like the fucking police state thing is gonna happen, right? Like with this Rona and shit, and everybody's like, well, they're making us stay home. The government's exceeding its you know,
takeover.
It's takeover.
It's power.
All this, yeah, and pushing the limits on shit. And a lot of people are thinking like, I don't know, like some martial law shit, and how it could fucking violate our rights and constitutional rights. So like, I don't think that that's something that's probably gonna happen during this occasion, but it's likely if we are not as aware or resilient all this shit that's happening. You know.
How's Florida? Are there lines outside
Well,
grocery
listen,
stores?
yes, there are. I mean, a few of them, depending
Really?
on the place. I've been into I've been on lockdown, which is it really lockdown? I mean, like I walk around my house and stuff. I walk around my neighborhood to walk my dog, but not very far away, maybe a block, but unless I'm in my car. And then I go to Publix or I go to Walmart. And yeah, people are trying to like with it's some sort of uniform chaos trying to stay away from each other, but some people just don't give a shit. Some stores there are lines to get in, and they're respecting the whole 6 feet apart thing with the carts. But you know, like there are
Yeah, it's
lines for
fucking
food.
weird.
There's a
So
lot of
fucking
charity
weird.
down here. There's a lot of charity down here. There's a lot of people getting free food. There's a lot of shit. Unemployment's all fucked. Everybody's unemployment's all fucked. I've been home, but you know, like I haven't been laid off or anything like that. Just self quarantining.
Yeah. Are you
It's
getting
scary
paid for
only.
You're not
Uh,
making money. Are you
I'm
getting
not making any
unemployment?
money. Not making any money. No, but I'm a prepper.
Are you? Yeah, but are you not? Are you getting unemployment?
I financially keep disasters like this in the forefront of my mind at all times. And
I
so
get it, but are you? Are
I'm
you
fine.
currently getting unemployment?
No, I'm not because I'm not unemployed yet. I haven't been laid off. But what's going to happen
It
is
doesn't
we're
matter.
going to see how
It
it
doesn't.
goes. If they lift and then I can go back to work,
You should
then
have.
I'm good to
I
go.
don't know if I don't know if your mayor did it or governor or whatever. So our governor lifted the holding period, and like if you aren't working, whether your job has laid you off or not, if you aren't working
Yeah.
because of the coronavirus, that you can apply for unemployment. I applied.
Yeah,
I
I know,
got
but the
it. I
thing
was like,
is,
what?
my company is still paying my benefits. They're not paying my hourly, but they're paying my benefits, my medical, and all the rest of that
You
shit.
could probably tell you. I don't know how Florida is. Probably much different than the city. But if you put it on the application, they'll probably just give you less, and you've got something.
Yeah, maybe I'll look into it.
Yeah, it don't matter. If
But
you're good, you're good.
I'm also too proud motherfucker who'd be like,
Well, let me say
I
something.
might try it. I might try it. I'll think about
I've
it.
never been on unemployment in my life.
No, I
Okay?
did twice. I did in
In
the
my
past.
life,
Like,
I've
wait.
never. And now I imagine this money just appears in my account, and I'm like, this is like I'm getting paid the podcast with Ryan Murphy. This is fucking great.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, like,
Not
you know,
much, but it's something.
I mean, I'm living. I mean, I like it down here aside from the Rona, but I really do like it. But down here, I'm like, I'm more frightened for like you and everybody else who's up in New York because you hear how overwhelmed some of the hospitals are. Down here, you do have your cases. It is okay. The hot spots in the United States are New York, Washington State. They have cases in California, but in Florida is not so bad. State in general, but South Florida has most of the cases. Where I am, in Palm Beach County, Broward County, which is where I am, Miami-Dade, Monroe County, that's where the bulk of the cases are, right around us. And you know, most of the people, like they do say at the beginning, were old, but then you see a police officer died or a state trooper or sheriff. He died. He was on the younger side. It's like people are dying at random, so it's like you get to contact with someone sick, you may potentially be sick. Now, I've recently, you know, like my life, just not recently, but in the last couple of years, have tried to get more health conscious and stuff like that and try to get fit. They say the more fit you are, the better you are off. You know what I mean? But immune systems still vary from one person to the next who could be fit but have a compromise. And they could get sick and die, which has happened with some of the younger people.
Listen.
So it's scary either way. I'm
so
going out,
different
masks and gloves. I'm covered up. I look like I'm a Saudi Arabian woman. When I go out, I'm like, I'm like a lady in Iran. Like that's how I dress. And I go out like that and fucking whatever, you know, like you just hope for the best, you know. Hopefully I got it already and it passed. You know what I mean? Because I did have a cold like earlier in the winter and it wasn't so bad, but it was just definitely like I took the day off of work. You know what I mean? One day. So maybe I had it and it wasn't so bad with me, but some people get it bad. You know, I haven't been tested though. I want to go for the antibody test, you know, because of that suspicion. You know, but I have to see when it comes close to me because right now they have one in Miami. In Broward, they have a drive-up test, but you have to be over 45, I think. Like, there's an age restriction
A
down here
drive-up
because there's so
test.
many. Yeah, they
Wow.
have a drive-up. They have several drive-up tests here in South Florida where they stick your nose in the drive-up test and test you, but you have to be 45, and it started off at 65 because a great portion of the population down here are retirees and snowbirds, and they're all average over the age of 55, 60. You know what I mean? So now they lowered it to 45 because they saw that younger people were getting it. You could get it tested if it's for a work purpose. You have to be tested, some people. So, like only younger people are getting tested or for work purposes. I know that they broadened their spectrum in New York to everybody who's getting tested. It's not just old people, but down here it's mostly older. Yeah. You got to fit a criteria.
Well, that's the big deal.
Yeah. I mean, like, listen, you know
It's
what? It's
people with
scary, but it's
multiple
not
symptoms
scary.
and multiple issues.
And compromised immune system because of a condition. You know what I mean? Like, it's scary for a lot of people, though. And, I don't know. I think we'll make it through this. But, with all the bad and everything getting shut down and fuck, like my bills are sucking this month or whatever, it's still cool that a lot of people are actually connecting a little bit more, because work isn't bogging them down. I've noticed at least.
Weird.
Yeah, man.
No, not that. Something else. I typed in the comments the name of the next episode. Yeah. What if slavery never existed?
What if slavery never existed?
Is that the name of the next episode?
I don't know. Is that the name of the next episode? What did they mark it? What? I don't want it to be hate speech. It's not hate speech. I want to go back in history like fucking 10,000 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they marked it as spam, I think. Wow. But that's a good thing if it never existed, isn't it?
This is the thing. Like, subjugation is definitely not a good thing, especially in our perspective today, right? It's not. And in the past, in our perspective today, it doesn't ever seem like it would have ever been a good idea. But the thing is, there was like a lot of things are actually misinterpreted as being slave made. They have proven that they were actual paid laborers who built the pyramids on most of the projects. There may have been people.
Listen. The dipshits. We're getting sort of about the pyramids now because you said that they haven't proven that. They haven't proven, and they found out they're a lot older than they really are.
Some of them may be older. Yeah, some of them may be older. They think some of them
are. It was on one of the Joe Rogan podcasts. He had the guy on, and I watched that guy's seminar. Then I watched the guy that he went to the pyramids with his seminar, and I was like, wow, I'm convinced.
I've been there. I've been to the pyramids.
You've physically been there. That's fucking incredible.
Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. This was the very first time I went. I was fucking.
Is that a camel? That is a camel. Holy shit.
It's me and my mother. And that's the edge of one of the pyramids of the Great Pyramids of Giza. But yeah, I'm a 5-year-old. That's me. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. Do you remember that shit?
I remember. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. That shit's burnt. The second time I went, I was 11, and I actually got to go. Like, you're not allowed to go all the way inside. It's not like you could go inside. Like, oh, I'm walking into the fucking the Best Buy in the strip mall. It's not like you.
Yeah, of course.
So I mean, there's like something that you could like sort of big stair climb up if you're fit enough, and they let you look into the fucking entrance hole that's like sort of roped off that you're not allowed. It's cool, dude. It's like like you're next to something that fucking big. Even when I was a little kid, it was experience, because it's like I'm already this little, and I thought of myself as being little, 5, 6 years old, 7 years old, and then you're next to this mound of fucking stone that like these people who shouldn't have had the tech to do it did it, right? And regardless of whatever your argument is with the tinfoil hats and the aliens and shit. But
no, I don't believe that alien shit. No,
like it was built and it's amazing, and to be next to it and being just like I'm just like this insignificant being next to this.
Basically, the guy said
The Sphinx
on
also, and the boat. They have a museum. The boat they dug up from the pharaoh of one of the great pyramids that he was buried with, and it was a full-on like funeral boat that his body was entombed next to. So people used to get buried with their yachts, bro, back in the day.
I want oof.
Like,
if I owned a yacht, I'd probably. I mean, it's a money pit, right? It's a giant money pit.
Yeah, they would put their gold. They'd be like, "Yo, I'm gonna get." It's like saying this, Mike. Yo, I'm gonna get buried with my Rolex. I'm gonna get buried with my gold-plated golf club set. I'm gonna get buried with my 55-foot yacht with the fucking pimp-ass hot tub in it. I'm gonna get buried with my fucking Lambo. I'm gonna get buried with my private jet and my Liger.
And all my bitches.
And all my bitches. It's like saying that. They used to do that shit, though. They would literally get buried with their cat, their dog, their fucking, all their love.
Imagine being like, look. Imagine the plague comes around and kills everyone except for the cat. So now they have to kill the cat to bury him with everybody. So the cat's like, oh, fuck.
What the fuck, man? I'm 3 years old. I'm a young cat. Why you kill me now, man?
Can't you just take me in? Can't you just take me? Come on.
Oh, you remember the time I brought you that mouse? You remember I brought you that mouse, right? That was for you. I caught that sparrow for you.
Yeah.
Dude,
that is funny.
Yeah, crazy, dude. It's crazy. Watching like something that old, like going anywhere where you're like witnessing something that old, something in the thousands of years old, it's like it takes your breath away for a second. How old it is. No, for no spiritual reason. Trust me, because I don't believe in hocus pocus, but you do believe like these humans themselves into shit. You know what I mean? Like when you go into some ancient fucking shit that was built by the Romans or the ancient Egyptians, you feel like energy because of that energy they put into that shit. You know? That was top of the line. These motherfuckers are making like the best for humanity out of their artwork, and it lasted that many thousands of years. That's like, you know what I mean? It says something. Yeah. Those architects were smart motherfuckers, bro. For their day and age, they were geniuses. You know what I mean? But today we have geniuses that Nazi Germany, and they make rockets that send us to the moon.
Yep. Well, yeah. Operation Paperclip. We take their scientists and we're like, hey, buddy. Yeah. You saw what you were doing over there, but can you help us with this over here?
I'm sure we robbed some Russian fucking scientists during the Cold War too, right? Didn't we like house some of those motherfuckers?
Right. We didn't go there. I mean, it's too cold. Who wants to go over there?
Nah, but they came here. They like exiled.
Maybe.
Or I don't know. That sounds like a James Bond movie.
I'm more worried about the Nazis, not the Russians. I'm not.
No, but the Nazis. I'm just saying, like a lot of those espionage things jumped from World War II to the Cold War.
Somewhat, yeah. I'm saying the Nazi motherfucker. Operation Paperclip is when we absorbed the Nazi scientists.
That's the Saturn V moon rocket, which was original design, was a Nazi design, was tweaked and developed into being a ballistics missile that eventually turned into being like, hey, we could put a capsule on the end of this and send this shit fucking orbiting around the planet, and we could fling them off to the moon. And that was the rocket that got us there. I think Apollo's, most of the Apollos, because Apollo 11 was the one that we landed on. There were other Apollo missions that brought us and orbited us around the moon that we did not land, and we took pictures.
Right. I have the name for another episode.
The moon landing?
The moon landing. Basically, it was a big dick contest between us and the Russians. Shit.
Yeah. The space race was a big dick contest. Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
The space race was a big dick
contest. Phalluses and all.
And then whatever we come up with the title, whether it's what we just said, it was what we just said. We just repeated and I forgot. Shit.
A big dick contest?
Yeah, it was the before that, the whole phrase.
Space race?
The space race was a big dick contest if it happened. Because if it happened, we could go into conspiracy.
The moon landing.
The moon landing. Do you think it's a conspiracy? I don't think that's a conspiracy. I think it happened.
I think the moon landing happened. Yeah, but I think that there was probably a lot of involved in the space race. I believe that there was a lot of like manipulation taken on both sides to sort of, you know, like fool the other side. Like I think Russians did things that, you know what I mean? Like maybe Sputnik wasn't so successful for them, although it was probably for their time that was revolutionary, even, you know, to have that vessel orbit. I think that predates John Glenn. John Glenn was the first person American to actually orbit the planet, and he became a senator of Ohio.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, John Glenn. He was the first American to orbit the planet. He was an Air Force guy, military guy, and he became senator of Ohio. And he was in space technically, you know, in the tip edge of the stratosphere, right where satellites sit now, and he orbited around the planet. But Sputnik was the first vessel to orbit the planet, I believe. Manned. I think Sputnik was manned. Right? They said that was the first shot across the bow. They were like, we could do this. And America was like, what? They were like, yo, we could fling somebody around the fucking planet. And America was like, what? We could drop H-bombs.
Two of them.
We could drop. Those are atom bombs. I mean, the H bomb, like the hydrogen bomb. I think the Russians blew up the biggest nuclear weapon ever. They tested the largest one, right? That was a hydrogen bomb that fucking was like 15 gajillion megatons. That was like 15 times bigger than the biggest blast that we've ever tested.
I think so.
Like it was like enormous out in the middle of the fucking Siberian wilderness. They did have that meteor crash, though, right? What was it? Tunguska? Some shit?
I don't remember, but I just know it was fucking...
I would not remember. It was like 1911 or some shit, but there was like a fucking meteor crash in the middle of the Siberian wilderness. Anyway, so yeah, like we can talk about the moon landing. Oh, so moon landing I mean, moon landing, did it happen? I mean, like that's like a conspiracy episode.
No, I said the moon landing was a big...
Yeah, it was a big deal. Yeah, that was fucking huge. But getting to the moon landing
was big deal. Big dick contest.
Big dick contest,
so, like,
yeah.
It wasn't about...
It was a big deal, big dick contest, yeah.
We weren't trying to do anything other than show what we can do. There's nothing on the moon for us. Yeah. There's nothing there. Oh, look, we found some rocks, guys. Look what we discovered.
It was a flex.
We discovered some cool shit, but it was a big flex, yeah.
It was a flex.
Unless it's a big lie and the conspiracy is there's bases on the moon where the Germans live.
This is the thing, and I see this as a benefit to us as far as like our quality of life. A lot of things came because of the space race as far as technology goes. You know, like a lot of the GPS, all that shit. The reason why we have this communication right now is a product of the space race. Us having these multifunctional computers is a product of the space race. Communication in general, to the max that it's been stretched out to, is product of the space race. Mm-hmm. Now, one could say also, well, ballistics and stuff like that, and you know what? Like the same tech that you would fucking fling somebody out to orbit or a satellite into orbit, you could use the fucking arm with the nuclear warhead and fucking kill people with. It's like, yes, okay, yeah, you can do that too, but but the thing is, like, a lot of the other things came that increased our quality of life. The reason why you could go and fucking blog about
that came from NASA.
Yeah. The reason why you could fucking vlog about your green eating and your off the grid lifestyle, and off the grid lifestyle when you're on the internet, that's laughable, is because of fucking space tech. It's because of all that shit. Home insulation, like there's products that they use in space that they use to insulate homes now that has now become more economical. There's things that translate to our quality of life being better. And the space race wasn't only a big dick contest. It was also a race in our ability to be a better civilization, I guess, because people flex on their lifestyles. The Romans used to do it all the time. They used to be like, look at us. We walk free ball with our dicks swinging in these robes, and we just fuck and eat and drink wine, and look at us, and we're just political with a massive army and technology, and we took over this massive amount of land. And then you get people like fucking Genghis Khan who just like marauder their way through fucking the steppes of Asia. You know, I mean, like it happens to where like, you know, people could flex their lifestyle, and the Romans did it, the English did it. You know what I mean? The French, especially the fucking French did it. The French did it. You know what I mean? Dynasty China did it. You know what I mean? They all did it. Then you end up getting taken over by a fucking, you know, like a horde of people from another culture because of that flaunting also. Like the Mongols wouldn't have been the Mongols if they weren't pushed to the limits by the Chinese. You know what I mean? To fucking just be like, fuck it.
Would have been, yeah, I mean.
No, the Mongols just said, fuck it.
Yo.
And they fucking burned their way through Asia.
China didn't want to deal with them so bad that they literally built a fucking wall.
They built the wall like Trump.
Trump's never gonna eat. Trump's not staying on the wall.
China. No, I mean, like, listen, there were parts of a wall that were already.
China is the fucking enemy. That's not conspiracy no fucking more, guys.
Now, the thing is, right, you had these civilizations who would flaunt, and it would egg people on. You know, like, I'm pretty sure that, you know, the people who sacked Rome weren't happy that the Romans would flaunt off their fucking, you know, their fucking riches and their rich lifestyle and shit. That could have added to it. And I believe, like, a lot of fucking, you know, terrorist acts are because people are upset with America's arrogance, I guess, in a general sense, which is like, yo, sometimes it's just fun to be arrogant. Like, don't hate me.
You're not arrogant, kill me. Bro.
Don't kill me for it. You know, just because,
you know, like, I just realized again, our names are gone.
I mean, you shouldn't love me. No, but what I'm saying is, like, a lot of also resentment for whatever reason, you know? So, you know, you could say that, like, some cultures have flaunted and then have faced the repercussions for doing so. I don't know what the fuck we were talking about, Mike. Oh, well, yeah. Space race. So Russia flaunts, USA flaunts. Russia flaunts,
Everyone does, yeah.
So that was the nuclear race, too, dude. Space race and a nuclear race were hand in hand. They were both sister projects. You know what I mean? Oppenheimer, you know, like like a lot of his physics were written into propulsion for rockets and shit. You know, I mean, literally.
Yeah. Hydrogen. I mean, that's how they invented the rockets. These Germans.
Yeah, it's hydrogen molecules fusing with oxygen molecules that create the fucking flame that shoots out the bottom of a fucking space shuttle rocket or a moon rocket. You know what I mean? And it's an insane chemical reaction that happens. And a lot of these scientists came up with all this shit. Nazis or American or whatever, or they defected. Like Einstein was, you know, from Eastern Europe, and he came to the United States because of anti-Semitism. You know, and became. Yeah. He's the most famous scientist ever. You know, and a lot of his ideas branched into other ideas that branched to other ideas that got other people working on other shit that brought upon the age of the atom. You know, and the space race benefited from that because that's how you got them up there. You know, nuclear power for a space station was an idea. You know, that was definitely, you know, because of all that shit. You know, the space race gave birth to the fucking nuclear reactor and all that shit. You know,
if it wasn't for the space race, I would never have Fallout.
Or the Terminator, or a lot of cool things.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to bed, I think.
Yeah, man. I'm going to play Call of Duty for a little while, I think. You got that Second Amendment got me going. That Second Amendment got me going, Michael. I'm like, There, go play some fucking Call of Duty.
Shoot some guns.
Yeah, man. Hell
Well,
yeah.
have a good night, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes,
Check out
America.
Kansas with Ryan Murphy.
Kansas, Ryan Murphy. I'm posting a video tomorrow at some point, and I think I'm going on Mark's big critique tomorrow at 7.
Nice, awesome.
Yeah. So
fuck with
Monday, you let me know what you want to do. What topic are we doing on Monday? Are we gonna do the moon landing, or the space race?
I thought we were doing the other one.
What was the other one? I forget. That's why I was like space race first.
It's what if slavery never happened?
I mean, like,
Which means we gotta research slavery.
is that educational though? Like, are we gonna learn something about slavery, and how far back are we going? Just the tradition of slavery in general, like in Asia,
this is gonna be
Europe.
too big because so much shit.
The Middle East has a big history. Europe has a big history. Africa, obviously,
it's not a good idea.
There were slaves that were taken.
What's
Asia was very, very, very slavery.
it's too big, and we're too
India,
we're
especially,
too dumbfounded and too big.
So the space race is nice and consolidated. We only have to talk about 40 years of
Do you really want to talk about fucking communism and the United States right now?
I don't know, man. Yeah, why not? Fuck it.
I feel like I just watched it too because
Mike, it has nothing to do with communism or capitalism. This is just world powers going dick for dick. That's what that was about. There has nothing to do with Mike. The rocket race was not communist policy or capitalist policy. It had nothing to do with either.
It's true. It's true. Okay, well, we'll figure it out.
All right.
Have a good night. Peace. Good night, everybody. Thanks
Peace
for coming
out, Internet. Nothing Network.
Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah. Anytime, bro.
I'm gonna dance until you exit, or until
I'm trying to exit.